Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 11 of the Misfit of Demon King Academy, Season 2, Core 2. 4 words that I never thought in 1,000 years that we would ever hear Anos Voldigod have to say to someone is, I can't save you. And that is exactly what we saw in a flashback in today's episode, when he and Arcana were dealing with the aftermath of Ceris pushing her toward a dragon and her being consumed. Anos could not heal her wounds and ultimately had to make the choice to have her be reincarnated, which has led down the path to her eventually being where she is now, at least so far as we know. We are still dealing with the potential for some form of unreliable narrator in the past sequences. But I do think it's interesting how that's starting to connect to the present and how we are seeing Anos deal with Ceris in the present and with the things he's trying to get Anos to do. Because while there is the possibility that there could still be some form of deception going on in the past, or at the very least, there is the current reality that we can't concretely prove that the past that we are seeing is true, there are actions that Ceris takes in the present that we can use to prove that he should not be trusted. What are those? First off, he tries to turn Anos against all of his friends. A very stupid idea, because Anos is not going to fall for that, and that kind of behavior would go against what Anos personally believes in. Second of all, he tries to get Anos to attack basically unarmed civilians of different nations in order to bring about, quote, peace for Dilhade. Yeah, again, that's a big hell no, and a massive, massive red flag that this person cannot be trusted. So, Anos connecting these two current reality aspects to what he believes that he has seen of his past, with Ceris attacking Arcana and then Anos pushing him into the fire, there is no way he is going to fall for that. And I am very relieved. And I mean, I didn't expect Anos to fall for something, but I do think that it's interesting and slightly tragic that Anos had something where he could not succeed. I mean, that was inevitable. There were bound to be situations where Anos either had to change plans or couldn't do things. But given that it's about something he cares about so deeply, I really did feel for him in that moment, because while that's a normal thing for the average person, Anos is generally supposed to represent an ideal, and to see that hit him in that way, and then to see him have to regain that memory, if it ends up being true, is a massive thing, because regardless of whether or not the memory ends up actually being truthful or not, the pain that he probably felt from recalling that, I can only imagine would be very upsetting. And whether or not something to the outside seems like it should actually count as some kind of emotional connection does not matter. If you feel hurt by something that is done to you or said to you or whatever, then that feeling, at least, is real. And that is something that is worth being acknowledged. Another thing that I really liked about this episode is that we see a bit more about the connection between Anos and Arcana, and the reality that they learned the truth that they are not blood related, which we all probably figured, but that it's that Anos actually was treating her as if she was his younger sister, and then when he is about to have her reincarnated because he couldn't save her, he actually tells her that he wants her to be his little sister. And there's something really important and powerful in that statement, because it ties back to, there's this song called The Hard Way by Mary Chapin Carpenter, and one of the lines in it goes, "We've got 2 lives, one we're given and the other one we make." And that's something that's always really stuck with me, especially in storytelling, when we think about the distinction between blood families and found family, or the family we are born into versus the family that we accumulate through our various relationships and connections as we live our lives. Because while those ties might not be by blood, and not all of them may necessarily be connected through some kind of legality or marriage, as we grow and mature and as we live, we do move through a variety of different things that could be considered family circles. And it is the worth and warmth and value of those relationships. It is the way they make us feel and the things that they make us do and the ways that they inspire our lives that truly matter and are important. and I really loved seeing the show touch on that, and the entire sequence where he is dealing with the aftermath of the fact that, holy crap, dude, I mean, she got nommed by that dragon, and he couldn't just heal her and be done. And the emotional, like, punch of that was actually really something, in my opinion. So to see how it connected to the present, and the fact that it was one of the things that helped Anos remain strong and resolute and confident in the face of all of this stuff that Ceris was trying to sell him, was incredibly satisfying. Because if nothing else, whether that whole situation ends up being true, false, somewhere in between, or whatever, it was not in vain, and it served an absolutely massive purpose. The next thing that we need to touch on, of course, is the reality that Ceris tried to turn Anos against Misha and Sasha, and he talked about the possibility that the thing that they were, I can't remember the name for that goddess of absurdity, but the thing that they were in the past caused a lot of problems for a lot of people. And here's the thing, it doesn't actually matter whether that is true or not, because if something from your past, if some past ancestral thing or some past incarnation thing or whatever caused problems for people, that's irrelevant and immaterial, because it has nothing to do with who Misha or Sasha are in their current state. And that's absolute garbage to think that you can just take that stuff and throw that at them as if it's their fault. I've seen this kind of thing come up in certain cultural issues, especially in the past 10 years. I've seen a few situations where somebody's loved one said something in the past, and then we saw that person get punished in the present for things that had nothing directly to do with them. And that's actually a really bad issue. There are certain myths and legends throughout history that talk about stuff like this, and it's usually in a very cautionary tale kind of vibe, because if you lock people into being responsible for the things that their ancestors did in the past, then you predestine their futures, and that is never bright, because they're always being weighed down by negative things. Because let me tell you, we never hold on to things that people do that are good. That would be too convenient. The last thing I just want to touch on quickly is the fact that we basically get a vibe of stranger danger from the whole Ceris and Arcana thing in the past, and it really did make me feel really sad to see that go down, because he was all like, I'm going to teach you magic and everything, and she went along with it, and then holy crap, with the whole dragon thing and with the whole situation that ended up happening, she basically got in the back of the frickin' bad man's white van. Like, holy crap, dude, that was just so sad to see happen. Thank God Anos showed up when he did, even though the result wasn't necessarily as ideal as he would have liked it to be, because it did at least ensure that she got reincarnated and she did get to continue. But it was really wild to see that kind of thing pop up in this story. Overall, though, I thought this episode was really interesting, and that we definitely got a lot of information. I don't know how much of it we can believe, because, as I was saying, between the dream sequence and the fact that we see actions regarding Ceris and what he's trying to accomplish, it's really hard to know what we can actually trust here. But the thing I think is safest for us all is obviously to put our trust in Anos, and to trust in his character and his ability to reason and be smart and everything, and to figure things out. It definitely left off on quite a cliffhanger there, with the fact that it looks like Dilhade is in grave danger, and we definitely need to see what everybody is going to do to protect it and to save everybody, because if that attack hits again fully, we're going to be in big trouble. But we'll have to wait until the next episode to see how that wraps up. And for now, I will just ask you guys to let me know below what you thought of the episode, and how much of all this stuff that we've heard do you guys believe? What do you think is going on? Feel free to share your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye!